live. Anybody who is watching the replay, I have a very special guest today. Somebody I consider a friend, someone who's an amazing artist, crazy work ethic. Had the privilege of working with him 10 years ago as fellow tattoo artists. And just over a year ago today, we had a podcast and we were talking about our journeys. And one of the things that came up in conversation was NFTs. And if either of us was keen to jump in, and a year later, we're both fully immersed in the NFT space. And so it's my privilege and honor to have Jesse, aka Limitbreak, here as our special guest. Brother, how are you?
Yeah, good, bro. Thank you so much. That was a beautiful little introduction, man. I get a little bit of heart fluttering there. Thank you so much, dude. No, I'm good, man. I'm really good. It's been a whirlwind of a time, as you can imagine. You know what I mean? This world eats us up, and it's given me a lot and taught me a lot so far. And it's only been four months. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, bro. And no, you're welcome. I was telling Sunny, my partner, leading up to this podcast with you, that I felt comfortable just because I already know you, and there wasn't as much research that I had to do before doing this podcast with you.
Oh, cool.
And so been excited to have you on here. And yeah, what a crazy 4 months it's been, bro. Like, remember that when we had our conversation in Feb last year, and it was, you brought it up, I think you brought up NFTs, might have been towards the end of our conversation. And at that point, it was pretty hard to be on social media and not hear about NFTs, you know what I mean? Especially as artists ourselves. And for you, bro, who was like, when did you first hear about NFTs? And then second, was there a person who convinced you, or was there a project that convinced you to go, man, let me jump in.
I actually have. It's a very embarrassing story, but like, take it however you will. It's not good or bad, but there's so many cool stories that my friends have, and I'm sure you have a similar story where I'm like, that's such a cool way you got into NFTs. My way wasn't cool, dude. I'm actually kind of embarrassed. I wanna be honest with you though, because I think you deserve that. But I like we all do, watch lots of YouTube and Twitch and stuff like that, and I got caught up in the Pokemon hype. It was Pokemon Day, and then I saw that Logan Paul, take him however you want, you know what I mean? Like, but I was just super stoked to watch him unbox the Pokemon cards, right?
Yep.
And that was super cool, and I was into that, and like it's that blind opening like you have when you're a kid and you open up like a pack of baseball cards or whatever. And I was like, yeah, this is cool. And then so he had NFTs for sale that was for sale, I think, directly before or after this live YouTube crazy time, right? And I got caught up in the hype. You know what I mean? I was like, oh my God, like I've heard of NFTs like just through the grapevine, like you said, it's hard not to go through social media and not hear about it. And then I saw he was selling an NFT. And I'd been into crypto before, just doing a little bit of whatever, just buying bits and pieces and, staking a little bit. And I was like, okay, cool. So I've got some crypto. I can buy this NFT. Should I do it? Back and forth. And I got caught up in the hype and the FOMO, and I bought one of his NFTs. And I think at the time it was actually quite expensive compared to a lot of the NFTs I'm buying these days. But I think it was like maybe just under $1,000 New Zealand. Yeah. You know what I mean? New Zealand dollars. And
first NFT?
That was the first NFT I bought. And that was about, would have been just under 2 years ago from now.
Damn.
Yeah. And so I bought that and I was like, yeah, cool. I've made this great investment. It's going to go crazy. And I think he oversaturated the market, and now they're like worth half the price. But that's another story. So I wish my story was grassroots, like Phantom. Like my first NFT was like a Phantom NFT or something. But it was this big rock star kind of thing. And I'm not too psyched on Logan Paul. I think he's tried to redeem himself recently, but whatever, that's beside the point. So that's my embarrassing story, is I got caught up in hype and I bought an NFT and I lost money. But
what a week.
That's okay. I think a lot of lessons in crypto come at an expense. You know what I mean? And it was it was good because I kind of understood that aspect of it, like the rock star kind of version, and then to go from that and then to enter into Phantom and Tomb Heads and the beautiful community that FTM is, right? That polar opposite is taught me a lot, and it was like, oh wow, this is what it could be. No, this is what it is. You know what I mean? And these kind of grassroots people and meeting artists from all around the world and people changing their lives. It was
Yeah.
good times.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. Bro, how did you get into Tomb Heads auctions and like Phantom and stuff?
Well,
I didn't even know the story.
the guy, a friend of mine, I'm going to use his alias, Ghost in a nutshell. So Ghost and I have been friends since we were just out of high school, so early 20s or whatever,
Crazy.
you know. And he taught me everything I know about crypto. So he told me what to get into and all these different things and how to use the apps and how to use the bridging and all that kind of stuff. So he's always been on that side of it. He's been like the shaman, the crypto shaman for me and all my friends, including Czepta, right? And then he's been digging around, and he obviously knows I'm an artist and stuff like that. And he taught me about generatives before Phantom, right? Taught me about what generatives are and how they can be how artists can use them to just generate wealth or generate a community or whatever you like to do. And then he discovered Phantom just by chance. He's discovered the coin, and then he discovered the community, and he through all that and through Twitter, he found Tomb Heads. As soon as he found Tomb Heads, he told Czepta, because Czepta had just gotten back into crypto, and then Czepta kind of dug around for a few days, and then Ghost and Czepta told me more or less on the same day, and they're like, "This is what we're doing. This is what it is. You should probably get in on this." So I watched Czepta's first auction, and it was crazy, as you know, dude. Like it's a crazy time. It's something else, and so I watched it, and then after the auction, Czepta got in contact with me straight away, and he's like, "Bro, this is crazy, man. Like, this is crazy. This could be the next thing. You know what I mean? You got to get on next weekend." And this shows you how much of a good friend he is. Like, the next day he woke up because of the time difference. The next day he woke up, he goes, draw an NFT. Just draw whatever you want to draw. Just draw an NFT. Do your research. Look at the community. Just draw something. And I drew one NFT. And I sketched out two more, so three, because at that time, new artists could come into Tomb Heads and drop 3 NFTs. Now it's just one, right?
It's heaps 3.
Yeah. 3 is heaps. And then, so I drew one, and then Czepta was like, "All right, sweet, cool. You message the auctioneer, Gab, you message him at a certain time and tell him this, this, and this." And he told me everything about the collections and paint swap and how to set all that up. And then he goes, and then he goes, "What's your MetaMask wallet? I'll send you some Phantom so we can mint you your own collection." And then went through all the contract and we made up my own collection. He held my hand through all of it. I would be lost without that guy, bro. Man. Like, he's my rock, bro. And then so yeah, he held my hand through all of that. And then I went into the auction and I auctioned off 3 NFTs, and one of them Tomb Heads himself bought, and Dan 90 bought one, and Tweak bought the other, and I just was blown away. And then from that point onwards, it was just like, okay, we got to do this now. Like, strike while the iron's hot, bro. And then we've pumped out 2, 3, or sometimes 4. One weekend I had 5 just because of some other weird situation. NFTs a week of these one-of-ones up until this weekend just been, which is this week, where this is the first weekend they haven't had an auction, because they had one at South by Southwest during the week, the live one. And yeah, throughout all that time, Czepta and I have been talking, and we made our little art collective, and now we're working on a generative together.
Bro, tell it, like, for everybody listening, if you haven't been into a Tomb Heads auction before, because that was my introduction as well. It's crazy, man. Especially if you haven't been a part of anything like that before, like not even as just an artist, but just as an observer of it.
Yeah.
You know, so you go in and there's Gab talking, and then he shares your artwork, and then you're in the auction house chat, and everybody's bidding, and it's hectic.
It's like, too much, man.
As well, you know, it's crazy that you're on there at the same time as people who are on the opposite side of the world to you.
Yeah,
you know, it's 2 a.m. in one place, and it's 7 p.m. in another place, and you know, everyone getting together to buy artwork and auction off artwork and stuff like that. It's hectic.
It's phenomenal, man. So obviously, I think Tombhead's auction house in itself has generated this identity that is very hype. It's a lot of hype, and good hype as well, not fake FUD, you know what I mean? Like really good hype, and it's really good, and everyone's pumped, and everyone's welcomed, and everyone's part of something where there's kind of no rankings or anything. Anyone can chat, anyone can bid, anyone can hang out and talk, and all the artists get brought up on stage, and yeah, and it's a crazy time. And all the music before it starts, and the music's super loud. And I think in particular, my experience, which you probably would have had a similar one, is we have to get up so early for these auctions because of the time difference. And to be listening to the Pokemon soundtrack blasted through the headphones at 6 a.m. in the morning. Man, I'm tripping out. I'm like, what's going on? Like, where am I?
And it's dark.
It is dark outside, and I'm trying to keep quiet because my wife is asleep in the next room. And
you're eating your porridge with your blueberries. That's
quickly get some fuel in. You know what I mean?
Man.
It's a wild time, man, and I'm extremely lucky to have found this community.
Yeah, 100%, bro. And I remember when Czepta, he sent me a message just before he had his first auction.
Yeah.
And he was really just asking about it. And I was gutted because I missed his message, so I didn't get back to him until after the auction had already happened. And I think I pretty much just said, like, bro, this is perfect for you, because I hadn't heard or seen anything from him in years, like over 5 years, probably since we were working together.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing his stuff all the time when he was doing his comic book stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, you're perfect. And then when I seen you jump in, I was like, yes. Like, like cool to see people who, like, because I know both your fellas work, it's real graphic, intense. It's you can't walk past it and not see it.
Thanks,
your fellas work, and it's vibrant, and I hadn't seen many NFTs that were created with like the level of taste and skill that you both have.
Wow.
So when I seen you fellas both come in, I was just like, yes. And then when I seen like both your fellas success in the space, it's validating to see that, people like yourselves, all the stuff that I said, like making it and cracking it. So, that was cool. And then to see you fellas collaborate together, and this, bear in mind, like everybody listening, I didn't even know that these two fellas knew each other growing up. I thought they were just two separate dudes who happened to live in the same place.
No. We're good friends, man. We're good friends. So we met in high school. So we met when we were 13. And straight away, it was myself, Czepta, and another friend of ours. And we were like an inseparable trio. And man, the weekends were spent hiring out PlayStations and playing games and Final Fantasy, and you know what I mean? And then like hiring out VHS, because we're old, man. We're old boys. Hiring out VHS and watching like anime, and it was just a great time, dude. Like, and so we were like best mates straight off the bat, all into all the same stuff. And then we're those friends who never kept out of contact. So we had lived together previously, lived together at one point, and then we were in the same city, and he moved to Melbourne and I was in Melbourne already, and we always crossed paths. And then we actually came up with the art collective, Southern Empire. We came up with that like over a decade ago, like 15 years ago. Yeah, we came up with it 15 years ago. And we're like, we'll get like artists together, and we'll do cool things together, and we'll make this and we'll make that. And then it kind of was like this. I actually tattooed it on his hands, like on the side of his hands, like here, Southern Empire, bro. And it's before I learned how to tattoo, mind me. It's still pretty good though. It's still pretty good. But, and then and then we came into the NFT thing again, and then it went from talking once a month or once every few months to now talking 3, 4, 5 times a day, like voice chats twice a day. Yeah. And it's been a trip, man. And then now we've got the Southern Empire Collective, and it's a NFT based digital Discord community, and I could not dream it better, dude. I could not dream it better.
Bro, that's nuts. Bro, tell us more about Southern Empire and the work that you fellas are doing together, and Hancoq is in there as well.
Hancoq,
Yeah,
yep.
tell us about your fellows project, bro.
So yeah, we're working on a generative series. Oh, so Southern Empire in itself is a larger scope project. So it's a hub for artists like myself and Czepta and Hancoq and anyone else who wants to come join the Discord to come in and share and learn and collaborate and all these different things. So that's the Discord. That's the community in itself. And we like I said earlier on, we live stream every single day. There's no commitments and anyone can come in and live stream. So we just want to have a place that revolves around art and creativity that has no strings attached. You don't have to buy an NFT to come into the Discord. You don't have to do anything. You just have to be cool and positive, right? So that's the overarching scope of what Southern Empire is. And then what we're doing with it personally is Czepta and I are doing a generative series in collaboration with Hancoq, who's a musician. And yeah, Czepta and I are both working on the art together. So it's a pretty decent fusion of art styles, right?
Yeah.
And then Czepta's doing all the dev work, and I'm doing the majority of the community work. He does a lot of community work as well, so we share that. And then Hancoq is adding an element to our generative that of a musical. He's adding music to our generative, but in a crazy way, dude. In such a crazy way. He's not just adding a track to an NFT. We're actually building different archetypes into the NFTs themselves, and depending on what attributes you get, you will
It's going to make a new song.
Difference. No, maybe not new. Oh yeah, well yeah, technically a new song, but like say for example, we have 4 different classes, right? So we have mage, monk, rogue, and warrior. Depending on which one of those you get, you'll have a different track. But then if your monk is a fire monk, you'll have a different track. But if your monk is a water monk, you'll have a different track. But if you see how the branches just extend out?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a generative series that we're working on together. We're actually just about to have our roadmap party on the 1st of April. And we're going to discuss when it's dropping, how much supply we have, how much it's going to cost, and the other features about what's going to come in the future as far as extra generatives and extra projects, and what your NFT is going to grant you as far as utility. We don't want to overpromise and underdeliver by saying it's going to be this or that or whatever, because we see that all the time in this industry. Everyone seems to think they're going to make a video game or a TV show when I'm yet to see it. You know what I mean? But I love that ambition. I love that that enthusiasm. But we're going to outlay all that in the roadmap party coming up soon. Yeah. So it's all happening, dude. So every day, 24/7 community stuff, drawing, coding, this, that, whatever. We're on the ground.
Bro, I had no idea that Czepta did dev stuff as well.
Dude, get this. It would have been like 1999.
What?
He was learning CSS and HTML. This is
23 years ago.
This is like even before I had the internet. He was already learning coding and stuff like that. He's a genius, man. And I don't want to say that in a way where he's naturally good at things. He's just naturally good at being enthusiastic to pull that knowledge out of things and put it into himself. So for me to team up with him I literally couldn't think of anyone better on this planet to do something like this with.
Bro, that's unbelievable. Like, you know, the stream that you guys were doing a few days ago when I jumped in, even just talking with you both then, and how you said that he was the one who got you into like anime and stuff, and all that, and I was like, what? You know, and like just talking to him then, and hearing what you just said about how he was doing like HTML and stuff back in '99.
Yeah,
this dude is he's the dude who like lives on the edge of technology and what's happening, like fringe. This dude's like on the fringe.
Yeah, he's right out the front. Like he's not afraid to trailblaze and lead and take risks and all these things. And it's actually been incredibly inspiring to have a friend like that. Yeah,
for sure.
To help like break down barriers and rules and stuff like that, because sometimes it's the unknown is a scary place to be as far as being creative, man, being an artist and taking those risks. But like it's a damn treat to be working with him. Like to do something with one of your best friends artistically on this kind of scope is you can't buy this kind of stuff. You can't even plan it, really, to be honest. It just has to happen at the right time.
like last year, when was it? It would have been, when was it? Just before I went into my first Tomb Heads auction,
Mm.
because I had a mate that I went to high school with, and he's the one. He pretty much gave me the alley oop, like your mate,
Yeah.
bro. Like get into the space, and then like Czepta 2, just draw a piece. And so my instructions from my mate was get in here, pretty much. Tomb Heads is his mate. He works with him,
Oh,
and he was like telling me like, oh, bro, like have you heard of NFTs and all of this stuff, and he was telling me about an auction that they did the previous weekend from when we were talking,
yeah.
and it was a charity one, and he goes, bro, we made over like 100 grand or 300 grand or something ridiculous, bro. And I was like, whoa, what the hell? And then
This is
he said, bro,
real.
yeah, like draw a piece. We've got this Halloween auction coming up, and so just do a Halloween themed piece. And I was just like, oh yeah. And so I was drawing this piece like throughout the week, and then I was figuring out like what all of the stuff was. He was telling me about minting. I was like, what the hell is minting? This, that, and the other. And so I did this piece, and then after that first auction, no, it was just before it, I decided to change my approach. I was like, no, actually, I don't want to do this piece. The piece I did was like super detailed, and it was not the style of what I would approach an generative project with.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, yeah, while I was creating it, I finished and I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. And then I saw other stuff and I thought about it. I was like, hey, I should turn this into a project, not even really knowing the full scope of what a project was. But like the idea for Graphigrams, like the teddy bear character, I came up with him when we were working together, 10 years
What?
ago. It was literally 2012. I came up with that character, and it was when I was at Wintech, and one of the papers that I did was a narrative illustration it was called, and we had to do like 6 pages of a comic, or 4 pages something.
Yeah.
And I had already done one in my first year, so this was my second year. I said, oh, I think I want to do like a graffiti inspired one. And big reason for that was being around you and Ellie, and like just being in Hamilton with with all the murals and stuff around. I was like, oh yeah, no, let me do this. And so I came up with that character, and the story that I've come up with, it, like the bones of it, that story is still in there.
Yeah.
And then like at the time, like I wanted to tattoo stuff like that, but there was no one that wanted to get tattoos like that from me.
For real?
Yeah, bro. And then like later on when I started tattooing moldy gods and stuff, I started doing that, which was fun.
Yeah, dude.
And then yeah, so fast forward to just before the auction, I was like, let me do that character. And
Perfect.
bro, like it was like how you fellas brought Southern Empire back. I brought that character back, and then I was building it out, and then I thought about all of the different things that I like, and I was like, oh, I can bring gaming and movie inspiration into this. And then I just started going crazy, and I was like, holy heck, this feels like a culmination of all of the things that I've nerded out over my lifetime, and being able to combine them into one space, because as a as growing up, my dad exposed me to a lot of different art styles.
Cool.
And it felt like I always had to compartmentalize a bunch of those different art influences that I had. And this is the first one where it felt like I could put all of the cool stuff that I like into it, and it's that's just one of the many cool things about the space.
Dude, oh, dude, that is yeah, I have the exact same experience. Like just discovering in your head when you come into this world, there are no rules. Whether it's because it's new, or because it's so open, or because the people involved with it are so accepting, there are no rules. And I realized that the entire time I've been making art, whether it be painting or sculpting or tattooing or whatever, or even being in a band when I was younger, writing music and stuff, the entire time I never felt like a musician. I never felt like a tattooer. I never felt like a painter. But I realized when I came into this space, I'm just an artist. I'm just a creative person.
Bro.
And I can have a fully fledged narrative, like written words that tell a story, and you have a visual aid. And then now that we're working with musicians and stuff, they can add music to it. And then I started So I can have the whole scope of art, like you said, this feature and this bit of nostalgia and this and that and graffiti and whatever else, all of that combined, it comes into this beautiful kind of like soup of everything that you love. And then you realize I can make as much soup as I want.
Yes.
I don't know. That's a weird analogy, but
Bro,
I
no,
kind of
that's perfect. That's perfect.
And to have that kind of freedom and kind of feel comfortable in yourself, because I never felt comfortable being a tattooer. I didn't like being boxed in by
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, by a word, you know what I mean, or a thing. And I think you're similar. Like when you kind of like slowed down on tattooing, when I was tattooing full time and you slowed down and started doing other things, there was definitely a part of me and I was like, what are you doing, man? You're a tattooer. Just tattoo. But then like through that, I was like, oh, no. Like that's the worst thing you can do is get boxed in and only do one thing. Well, it's up to each individual, man. But I'm too crazy, man. I want to do
an artist
everything.
like you and myself, yeah, that's the worst thing.
Yeah. And I like talking as well. That's another thing I've discovered. I love talking to people, AMAs and community events, and like just being part of something like in a speaking form. And now I'm super excited to get better at like the written language, or at least the spoken word,
Me and you both. Bro, yes.
Isn't it wonderful?
Bro, it's amazing. Like as an artist, like one of the coolest things I think anyway, and I think you'll probably feel a similar way, is seeing something like creative and going, whoa, that looks cool, or that looks interesting. Let me have a turn,
Yeah.
Like, let me try that. Like, for example, if you saw graffiti for the first time, or you saw someone using spray cans to create artwork, like there's no way you're going to look at that if you're creative in any way and not want to turn.
Yeah.
And that's what it's like for you and I, and Czepta as well, and a few other artists that we both know. And it's there's no, like, it's so early in this NFT space that there isn't just one way to do things. Like a lot of people think there is a certain way you have to do things, but I think if you're creative enough and you're authentic enough, this is without sounding cheesy. Like what I mean by that is, what you like and what you don't like.
Yeah.
And if you know those things, you're self-aware, you know how to, or it makes it a little bit easier to navigate the space, and like an example, like for our project, for NFT projects, like the average NFT project, even if you don't give a damn about NFTs, you're getting spam DMs in your Instagram, from NFT, fake NFT spam projects and things like that, and through research, like Sunny and I, and trying to figure out what we want to do with this project and who we want to be, who we want to cater to. And we've found a lot of things that we don't want to do with our project. One of those things is like hype. You were just talking about it before, like a lot of terms you hear thrown around a lot is like going to the moon, like don't miss out, all those sort of that sort of terminology. And like instinctually to me it felt like wrong to do that. Like I remember saying to the bros who are developers on this project, saying like, bro, like whatever we do, like I don't want to market this project as just a tag 3 friends, like no this to anybody who does it. Like you do you get it how you think you should get it. But for me, I knew how annoying it was to get those messages and to see projects like that that were real noisy, and I didn't want our project to come across that way. And so navigating the space, it's been hard. Like real difficult when it feels like you're the only ones doing it different. And not that we are the only ones doing it different. There are a bunch of people who are doing different, but at times it feels like that. It feels like you want to go into the pressure of doing it the same as everyone else. But conversations like this with yourself, it's like, bro, validating, and like like there's someone else out there who's carrying the mantle as well of because one of my biggest things that I think I project as, like, in terms of being an artist, is care for the work that you create.
Of course.
Whatever it is, like, it doesn't matter what style it is, what medium, how big or how small.
Yeah.
If you know in yourself that you care about the work that you create, that's I think that's the most important thing as an artist. Like, an audience and all that comes later. And
100%.
artists, like, first we got to create work that sets us alight, and then as artists like me and you and the bro Czepta, trying different things as well. That's what keeps that fire blazing, keeps you want to keep going.
Oh, dude, 100%. I think we've found that because this space is so new, that the people who have succeeded, the others around them think that because they succeeded in that way, that is the only way to do it. You know what I mean? Because it's so new. Yeah. But we need to look at it from a different perspective, and you're already doing it, is going, oh, no, hold on. That's only one way. Let's do it another way. Let's do it a way that's more true to me, true to you, true to the work, to the art. You know what I mean? And I think having the courage to do that is incredibly important, because you're helping pave the way for other people to do it your way or a completely different way. And to do that with positive intention, optimism, and, like, respect towards the art and the community, that should be number one. And unfortunately, there are a lot of look, I don't want to name anyone or diss anyone, but, like, there are, like, rock star projects maybe over on Ethereum that you can clearly see are just all about hype, and someone might make $3 million, and then the next day the project's over and your NFT's worth nothing. And it's so sad to see, man, because that's the kind of thing that's going to bring NFTs down, when it should be more about, if you want to buy an NFT, like, if it's visually stimulating, that's perfect. That's an amazing thing. But if you get to be involved with a community and allow that to be part of your identity because you share similar traits with those people, that's a beautiful thing. And I think the knowledge about NFTs and what's possible, that we're only at the start, because a lot of people think it's a scam or a rug or whatever, but in reality, the way I've been trying to describe it to some of the people I know who think negatively towards it is, hey, look, I found a community that just adores positivity and creation and wants to share. There is nothing wrong with that. It is just a beautiful place to be. And that's the kind of thing that you and I and Ali back in the day would share. You'd see someone working on a piece of art and you come across, you'd be like, bro, where's that from? Or watch this movie, or check this comic book out. Or, oh, dude, you're painting this wall. I'll come watch, and just be involved. You know what I mean? Yeah. NFTs are just the fuel for the engine of that whole sharing of creative people. But now it's a much larger scope. Anyone can jump in. You don't even have to be creative.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bro, I think what's amazing about the space, and one of the big realizations that Sanya and I have come to, is what people see. People think of NFTs and they just go, oh, it's just a picture. Like, it's a picture.
Yeah.
Most NFT projects, but that's just the first step. If it's a good NFT project, the picture is the magnet. And then the reason to stay is the community and the culture that's been built there, and the connections that you make, and and, like, in some discussions that her and I have had about this project, when we fully drew a line in the sand, because before drawing that line in the sand, we weren't 100% on the audience that we were trying to cater towards and trying to attract.
Yeah.
And then like, over the last 3 weeks, working on a lot of foundational stuff for this project, the line in the sand that we drew was like, you know who we're for? And I was like, and then I drew it on a paper.
Yeah.
Said, we're for nerds. And I wrote, and I posted it up on the Graph Games Instagram.
Hell yeah, bro.
And then I elaborated on it a bit, and I said, what I mean by, and it's been decades since being called a nerd was a diss. People use it as a term of endearment now. Like, oh, bro, I'm a bit of a nerd.
Yeah.
Which means, like, when you say I'm a nerd now, it means whatever you're into it.
Yeah.
100%,
Yeah.
and you don't care what other people think, and I tip my hat off to the OGs who did it when it was ridiculed, like I remember you saying when you were younger, you got a bit of that flack for being into what you're into and stuff like that.
Yeah, dude.
And,
Yeah.
With I think putting that line in the sand, it brought us a lot of clarity for one, and for two, it made us feel okay with taking a bit longer to set our foundations.
Yep.
Because like with a lot of NFT, in the NFT space, things move super fast.
Oh,
1 week in the
fast.
NFT space is like a month.
Yeah.
So there was always that that feeling like, man, we're getting left behind, or we're not doing enough, and then that adds to that pressure of veering off your path of what feels right to you, for your project and things like that.
Damn, that's truthful, man. That's so true. So true. I feel like only just now I feel comfortable moving at the pace we're moving at. And we're moving as quickly as humanly possible. I do nothing but work. I might have an hour off every 4 days or something where I just play a video game, or I just lie on the couch, or I go for a walk. You know what I mean? Other than that, after we mint, we're going to have a break. We've decided we're having a week off after we mint and just hang out and play video games and still talk online like this. But I'm comfortable. I don't have the FOMO anymore because I feel like the community is helping me know that I'm on the right track, because they're still there every day. We talk, we stream, we hang out. If I didn't have that, I feel like I'd probably have more FOMO, but I'm good for now. Yeah.
Yeah, bro, I 100% agree. And I think, as artists, because when you think about like art, in a traditional sense, artists would create a body of work that have an exhibition, and there's pros and cons to having like that deadline to move you.
Of course.
One pro is you actually do it, you actually put into work. And then the con is when I think that deadline is always like just right here,
Yeah.
And that's what it's felt like in the NFT space. It's felt like you're always like, bro, you have to finish it now.
Yeah.
Like these people have already, there's these other projects that have already done the things that you were gonna do, all of that. And bro, have you heard about slow mints?
Is that where they on purpose release it just 100 at a time or something like that? Is that what you're talking about?
Kind of. I read this thread, and one of the developers on our project, he shared it, and he's like, oh, have a look at this. And before it, I always felt a bit of like anxiety in terms of like our project is not moving fast enough, or we have to do something different. And then I read this Twitter thread. It was from Meta Angels, which is an NFT project.
Cool.
And they were talking about slow mints, and they also shared this other dude. His name is Swombat on Twitter.
Yeah.
And he had another thread about slow mints, and what it is purposefully not hyping your mint. And one of the big reasons that I took away was when you're like a hype project, you attract the sort of person who's in there for hype and in there for giveaways and things like that.
Yeah.
And then just as fast as they come, they leave and they go to another project for the same reason.
Yeah.
And then in this thread, or in these two threads, they're talking about, you don't want the majority of your holders or all of your holders to be those sort of people.
No.
Who ain't even into the project for the community or anything. They're just into it because it's hype. They don't even care what your piece looks like, what your culture is. It's like, oh, here's an investing opportunity, And then hearing about one of the reasons to do a slow mint being one is so you can find your audience. It gives you time to find people who might like your culture and your community and want to invest into it and be a part of it. And two was just to deter the hype sort of investor.
Yeah.
And like honestly, after reading that, just felt like huge wave of like what would you call it? Like relax. What's the opposite of anxiety? Like calm?
A sense of relief.
Yeah,
Yeah,
relief.
calm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
felt a lot of that. And I was like, man, this
Wow.
sounds exactly like what we want to do. And one of the key things, another key thing, and it was the dude Swombat. He said, if you're gonna do a slow mint, you have to commit to it. You can't say that you're going to do a slow mint and then still try and have
And
it.
then hype. Yeah.
Yes, bro. Yeah. And then I remember like when Sonny and I had a conversation about it, I was like, you know what, this is what we're going to do. You know,
Cool.
it takes and what are we rushing for? You know, like if this is a project that we care about and that we really want to do for the long run, because people say we're in this for the long run or for the long haul.
Yeah.
What does that actually mean? You know, we asked ourselves, what does that actually mean? It means that we're going to be in this for years and years and years. And if we're going to do it, we might as well do it properly, do it in a way that we actually enjoy and feels correct. And bro, and like another thing that came into the conversation was like ethics, you know, in terms of, I don't understand how people can create a project, take people's actual money and just run away with it. You know, like,
yeah.
Bro, it's scary.
That's what we're talking. What I was bringing up earlier is like people have seen the first people to do these things. They think that's the only way, which is hype. If you don't sell out in 1 minute, your project's done, and you're like, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about? That's not about it at all." But I love the aspect you said about you. A slow mint helps you find the people you want to be involved with, and it allows them to find you as well. How many times have you found an NFT project where you're like, wow, I love this, and you go to mint and it's sold out, and you're like, man, I was late, and now you feel like you're excluded from the community. When in reality, like, oh, I wish I was there 2 minutes ago, you know what I mean? And now you've kind of missed your chance, and most of the time you feel like, you're excluded, you can't get in. But if you have that slow mint and you guys are in the Discord every day and you're like, oh, we sold another couple, that's really cool, and oh, what'd you get, you know what I mean? And you hold another AMA and you hold another community event, and it kind of all works out. Wow, that's beautiful, dude. I think you're touching on something incredibly important that I think a lot of NFT artists need to consider is the slow mint.
Yeah, bro. And I think it works for if you're creating a project that you believe in, and one where one of the main driving factors for it is community. Right. I can't see, or I haven't heard of it anyway, another way to do it that aligns with creating a community. Because if you want to create a community of like-minded people, being hype, like, and you don't want hypey people, I think there's the only way to go. It's exactly for those reasons, so you can find them and so they can find you. And because like we've had conversations about it, and I'm sure it's similar with you fellas with your with Shadowz. You know, like people that care about you, you know, people that care about the work that you create, you want to look after them. You know, you want to do everything you can to provide as much value as you can to those people.
Oh, dude, 100%. I think that's why Czepta and I made because technically there is a scenario where we would have already been minted by now, right? But we didn't want to rush it. We had a lot of stuff that went into it, and then no one really knows this, but we kind of changed our entire plan about the scope of what we're doing, maybe, I don't know, a month into starting the project, right? And we kind of sat down, we're like, well, what do we want this to be? You know what I mean? We want it to be something where we are involved with the community, not just get it drawn as fast as possible, mint it as fast as possible, and then you feel empty. You know what I mean? So we're doing, almost at this very moment, we're doing the opposite side. We're doing the other end of a slow mint. We're doing the slow build. Where we're getting those community members. We've dropped some artwork. They know what we're about. They see us auction off one-of-ones all the time. They know they kind of expect a certain caliber of art, or at least the style of art that they're going to receive. And we're giving them things that a lot of projects will do at the end. You know what I mean? Which is like, once you've mint the NFT, you can come into the Discord and you can come watch us stream. And we're like, no, we're doing that all now. We're doing that
now.
All before the mint. Yeah. Sorry, can you hear that?
What is it?
Oh, it's just a power tool next door. That's all
Oh
right.
no, I
Okay,
can't
sweet.
hear it
All
at
good.
all.
All
Yeah,
good.
bro, I love that. And I read this other crazy, amazing. First off, everybody who's just sent your comments, Greg, Marthai, Kia ora brothers, thank you fellas for jumping in. Bro, I saw this other thread from that Swambat guy,
Yeah.
and it was about so he talked about the slowman, talking about utility.
Yeah.
And at this point I was really struggling, like, man, like what kind of utility do we want to offer? And we've seen, if you're in this space, you've seen crazy promises, and a lot of them it's turned into like a bit of a pissing contest, like, oh, you're giving away this, well, I'm going to give away 2 of those, and then it comes back like, I'm going to give away 3 of those. It's turned into these like crazy big promises, and if they deliver, amazing.
Cool. Yeah.
But I think and one of the big things was like utility is giving money back, or giving crypto back.
Yeah.
And I remember just thinking about that stuff, and I was like we had implemented into our white paper at one point, but it didn't feel like right, like 100% right, and we didn't know like what else. Was like, well, what else do we put in there then? And then reading this dude's thread, bro, he was talking about, he pretty much broke it down, and he said, if your utility is offering crypto or money, anything that's valuable in terms of money, that money has to come from a future investor. You know what I mean? So that money doesn't just come out of nowhere. That money comes from someone else buying later.
Yeah.
And then, you're giving that money to the person who invested earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he said, and he was talking about sustainability. Anyone can do that for a short amount of time. We've heard of looms, which is, everyone invests this amount of money, and then it goes up to the top of the pyramid. And then the people who miss out are the last investors. They just give their money in, and then there's no one else behind them to give their money. And he said, if it's monetary, unsustainable, and the sustainable way to do it is value, through providing value. And value is contextual. Value could be whatever. And we were thinking about it, and we're like, that's it. Because the thing about value, especially if you're creating a community that you care about, and you know who your audience is, and you're trying to cultivate culture, if your value is related to that, those people care about those sort of things. For example, if we created a project and it was about tattooing, for example, and then the people who we wanted to bring into our community were people who loved tattooing, appreciated it, they loved watching it, being around it, wanted to learn all about it. Utility that we could offer would be, bro, like, we're going to do like a live tattoo workshop. If you've got one of our NFTs, come in. Like, we can show you exactly what we use, why we use it, how the process works, and that's valuable to somebody who cares about that stuff. But to somebody who doesn't want to be part of that community, it's just like, that's 6 hours of my life I can't get back. Just give me some damn ETH.
I want my money. No, dude, that's incredibly insightful. Again, like, for anyone listening who is thinking about getting into NFTs, like, if you're offering a project and your utility is offering money back, it doesn't sound, it's not sustainable, and 2, why would you give your money up in the first place to get money back? Like, you clearly don't care about the project itself or the NFT. But I just touching back on what you said a little bit earlier, I came up with it's probably someone else's, but I thought I come up with it myself, a good analogy to describe what an NFT is. And so people just say, oh, it's the JPEG, or it's the picture. You're paying all this money for the picture, and you're like, no. The picture, the JPEG, that's just the cover of the book. You're paying for the novel. You're paying for all that information, all that knowledge, all that wisdom, all that thing. So you're paying for the artist's present, past, and future. And whether or not you think that is a good investment, that's what it's about. And I think that's what I'm going to talk about both of us right now. I think that's what both of us are doing, honestly, in a really nice way, is we're building it entirely around community. And we're doing it before, who knows what's going to come in the future, but you're doing it before any of these promises, these hold on, I'm getting caught on my words. You're doing it before any other like aspect comes into your mind. It's not about the fanties or the getting the money, you know what I mean, the phantom. Yeah, I said Fanties there. the joke word for phantom. Yeah, it's not about getting the money or anything like that. It's about building a community, because if I asked you just out of the blue before NFTs, hey, would you like to be part of a really supportive, encouraging, enthusiastic art community? You'd be like, yeah, dude, sign me up. We're like, I'd love to come check it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what you can orchestrate in this brand new space we've got going on.
Exactly. Right. I love that analogy, you know, the book.
Yeah, the book.
You know, that's just the cover. That's just the thing that draws your attention.
Yeah.
You know, and then the thing that keeps you there is the content of that book and the quality of that content.
Yeah.
You know, and because what it is, you know, like the reason that people are proud to show off their NFTs and have a Bored Ape as a profile picture, is what it broadcasts out to other people, you know. And if what you're broadcasting out to other people is the fact that I'm a nerd and I'm into, you know, into this artwork by Limitbreak and by Czepta, and this is what you're broadcasting is you're broadcasting a cover to your own book.
Sorry,
you know what I mean? No, you're a good bro.
I might have to change my battery. I didn't know it was going to go so low. Okay, we're good. Okay. Oh no,
I'll go full screen for me and I'll just keep talking.
Yeah, you keep talking. I'm listening. I'm listening. I was going to look for the other battery. Okay, I found it. All right.
Oh, there you go. You're back on. You know what you're doing is you're broadcasting the cover to your own book. You know what I mean? And it's cool because when you broadcast that cover to your own book, you're inviting people who are attracted to that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? And I think it's the easy thing to do for people who are outside of the NFT space is just say, that's ridiculous. You know, like that's just a scam. NFTs are scams. Like that's the easy thing to do. I think the more open-minded approach would be to go, yeah, I've heard about all of those scams and things like that, but I've also heard about people who sing NFTs praises, you know, and let's find out why. Let's find out why these people love the NFT so much, why they always talk about community and things like that. And I think it's been promising and validating to see a lot of projects that are projecting that care and, you know, community.
I'm so sorry, dude. I'm so sorry, dude. I'm so sorry. I'm just going to switch over to my other camera.
Flat battery for a flat battery.
Yeah, who would have thought, hey?
I'll go back to full, bro.
I think we had issues last time as well, man. I can't believe this.
Yeah, I remember I think you charged your batteries. Oh, you thought you charged your batteries. And I remember you thinking, yeah, they're in there. They're plugged in, but maybe you didn't flip your switch on or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. All right, another camera. Look, completely different lighting. We're doing it live.
Well, we're 53 minutes, so we've got 7 minutes left, bro. Let's spend this last 7 minutes talking about Shadowz.
Ooh,
and like who is your fellas audience, bro? Like who are you for, and what can you tell us?
Well, I guess Shadowz is a collaborative project between Czepta and I. And when you collaborate with someone, like you have to give up a lot of your direction. But what you find is you don't just double the power, you quadruple it. Because you add and then you add and you add and you add, you know what I mean? And that's been an incredibly insightful experience to do, because I haven't done any collaborations on this level with anyone before. And I think it's really healthy for artists to do this, to kind of let go of the steering wheel a little bit, or at least just both drive with one hand.
Scary, eh?
Dude, you know? Yeah, it's very scary.
That's a leap of faith, bro.
I've grown a lot. And it's actually quite easy because, you know, Czepta's one of my best friends, you know what I mean? So it makes it quite easy. I don't know how people go collaborating with complete strangers, but I've been lucky, man. I've been lucky. But Shadowz is it's a amalgamation. It's a combination. It's a combination of of everything that we adore. So we're both really into comics. We're both really into anime. We're both really into movies and TV shows and fantasy and sci-fi and all these kind of things. So that's the visual stimuli for what Shadowz is like, if you like all of those things, we kind of put it all together. But what Shadowz in a narrative sense is about being your own person, and about not listening to anyone else, and about being like good to others and sharing and knowing when to fight and when to listen and all those kind of wonderful things. And it's I'll give you a little gist of the story. So the Shadowz is like a team, right? It's like a team like the X-Men. Like they're all different, but they're all fighting in the same direction. But they're all included. They're all going towards the same goal. You know what I mean? I don't want to release too much because that's what we're releasing in our show. But it's a collaborative generative series that has a very complicated, awesome generative musical element, as we described a little bit earlier on. And it's kind of something special to both of us, because it's that combination of narrative and visual stimuli in a space where we're building a community based off trust and honesty and sharing. So it's like Shadow. Everyone who's in our community, they're already the Shadowz.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You're making the mutant school.
Yeah, we're making the X-Men mutant school when like you said, like we're making it for nerds. You know what I mean? And sometimes in society, nerds might not be accepted by whoever, right? But come into the Discord, you come hang out. We're very respectful. You know what I mean? Like, even though Phantom's quite a degen space, we try and keep it pretty chill, man. Like, I want everyone to be involved. Sometimes people might think that degen attitude is a little bit too offensive, and they won't want to be involved with what you've got going on. And naturally, Czepta and I, we're not like those kind of people anyway. You know what I mean?
Same.
Like even we've noticed that there are a lot of females lacking in the Phantom space, but the ones that are in the Phantom space, they feel comfortable in our Discord because we're not, hypersexualizing women, or we're not being degenerates, and we're not using certain words and stuff like that, like
certain emojis
and stuff like that. So we just want to harbor a space of community and a space of sharing, because we have already discovered so many members of our Discord are teaching us things.
Yes.
About different cultures and about different ways of living and about different countries and about different art forms, about different ways to approach even an argument or a situation. It's beautiful, man. I got off topic.
No, that was perfect. I'm glad you brought that stuff up, because
thanks.
Like Sunny and I, like when you are aware of, like when you're self-aware, or as self-aware as I think I am, I think your radar is more sensitive to what you don't like, or to how you ain't, than it is towards what you're into and what you like. And one of those things was just being like that hypersexualization and stuff like that that you talk about. Like, I just ain't like that, I can't even pretend to be like that, or I can't even pretend to be into that, It's cool that and like, to each their own. Like, if people speak however they speak, and the community that they're in, that's how they speak, bro, go hard, But it's not to say that you can't have your own little corner and speak differently, Like, for example, like when we first started our Discord, one of the coolest things to see was seeing people say morena and kia ora all the time.
Right.
It's like, bro, like, this is cool, Like,
that's cool, man.
Like, we don't, there's no way to speak in the NFT space. Like, you don't have to speak how other people speak if that ain't how you speak. Like, you can say, like, chill, brother, how are you? Like, and like, be respectful and all that. And I'm glad you brought that up, bro, because that's important to me as well.
I noticed that about your Discord as well. Like, admittedly, I only just joined today, and I have a graph green, by the way. I just signed up for your whitelist for the next one. Oh, sorry, what do you call it? Your
glitch list.
Glitch list. I really like that, by the way. And apologies, I try and get around all the Discords, but I'm snowed under. But now I'm in, and I noticed that about your Discord. And because I'm moving back home soon,
Yes.
and I saw all this, and I was like, oh, this is a place that I want to be, like in the Graph Discord. Like I kind of kicked myself that I hadn't been there any earlier. But yeah, big ups, dude. You've created something spectacular, man. I'm really proud of you.
Oh, bro, thank you, brother. That means a lot. And first off, to Greg, this should be up live. Oh, it should be up to replay on YouTube as soon as we finish this, I think. But bro, to you, bro, like from the first time I met you, I remember exactly where it was. It was at that gallery that was at Center Place.
Yeah.
And it was with Ali, and he introduced me to it. And I remember you hanging up some artwork. And I remember when I met you and like we were talking for a little bit, I was like, man, this fella's a really nice dude.
Thanks,
bro.
man.
Like one of the things that I like about you is you're for real a nice dude. You know, you that is how you are. That wasn't you just pretending to be nice because you just met somebody for the first time. That's how you are all the time. And I think people who follow you, people who are a part of your fellow Shadowz community, they know that about you too. And that's a giant chapter in the novel that you're creating that's going to keep people there.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, I take my hat off to you, brother. And we've just hit the hour mark. And
hell yeah,
bro, what a conversation! Like,
dude, oh man,
super grateful for you,
dude. No, thank you so much, man. It's like seriously, it's a treat. It's when you said you wanted to do another AMA, I was like, whoa, hell yeah, man, let's go. Like I thought I was one and done, you know. I loved it, man. Hey, if you want to do one in 1 year's time, let's go.
Oh, bro,
how much shit's gonna change, bro?
It's making it a tradition. And not to say we ain't gonna do another one before then as well.
Good point. Actually, we need you on our AMA because we do them weekly as well. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah,
be my pleasure. But is there anything you want to say to people, bro? Like where to find you? And yeah, just any plugs you want to make?
Just Limitbreak on all and every social media. Limitbreak Customs, Limitbreak, and just I don't know, anyone who's interested in creating their own artistic endeavor, whether it be with NFTs or carving or painting or songs or whatever, just don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Just, you know, create something beautiful, and it's that's what it's about. I don't know, man. I feel weird.
Nah, bro, you hit the nail on the head.
How about this? Stick with Hanui, because this guy's genuine. This guy has never ever shown me anything to ever distrust him. I'm going to be with this guy for the rest of my life.
Oh, bro, I appreciate you, brother. One last thing before we sign out. Jesse was the first vegan that I ever met, and I never thought I would be vegan. And I'm vegan now, and it's been 6 years. So
wow! Congrats!
Appreciate you for cutting those tracks for me, brother.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, here we are.
That's huge, bro. That's huge. And like, who would have known that we'd have that conversation and it would lead on to this part of our lives? And now we're into NFTs, and who knows what we're going to be into in another year, dude?
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
This is exciting. But
stoked.
Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you. Everybody who listened in live, everybody who's watching the replay of this, wherever you are in the world, thank you and appreciate you. Be sure to go follow Limitbreak, follow Jesse on all the social platforms that he just mentioned, and go follow their project Shadowz or Southern Empire Shadowz.
Yeah.
Let's go find our communities.
Hell yeah, bro. Thank you so much, bro.